My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. Just to put things in perspective, we mentioned it once before. The last time these same two teams met at Indore, India batted first, put on 260. This time around, Sri Lanka put into bat first, have made just over half of those runs in the same number of overs. It was actually half when there were 3 balls to go, 130 for 9, and then Hasaranga hit 3 boundaries of Jasprit Bumrah to give them some sort of respectability, if you can call it that. 142 for 9 really doesn't look enough at all. Studio guests Zahir Khan, Harsha Bogle. I mean, if there's anything to go by, the small little moments of momentum, they'll feel good about the 3 boundaries, but nowhere close to what they wanted.
I think the bowlers have to do too much. The bowlers would have wanted many more on the board. I think the batsmen left the bowlers a little too much to do. 142. I mean, we're looking at numbers from 2018. It wasn't the run fest at Indore in 2018. 130, 135 were sort of par scores. But side batting second was still winning. I think at this stage, India is by far the happier side.
They're far happier side, but you'd have to say that while you give credit to the Indian bowlers, and we'll talk about them in a moment, there were some shots that you just wonder where they came from. It's just like loose shots, and it seemed as if...
I think they got done for pace. I think today's innings, when you look at it, Sri Lankans didn't have answers to the pace battery of Indian bowlers. They really built that pressure. You have to give credit to Virat as well, using those bowlers up front and choosing to use Kuldeep in the back end of the innings. So he understood the game. I think today's game was a classic example of bowlers actually being proactive, understanding what is the variation, and today's variation was certainly the pace up. And using those bouncers, rather than relying on those slow ones. If you look at the numbers, the number of slow ones bowled today by the Indian bowlers, fast bowlers, were on the lesser side. I think that shows that the understanding of the situation. They understood what is the need of the hour. They understood that the Sri Lankans are struggling for pace, and they were persistent with that kind of thinking and that kind of thought process. I felt the energy on the field was superb today, isn't it? Everyone were looking really charged up. They were building that pressure on the Sri Lankan team through and through. And even though they have reached to a respectable total, I think it was one of those bowling performances which all the bowlers will be proud of.
I mean, it worked perfectly for Virat, as he said. Saini with the pace up front, Bumrah, Shardul, Thakur. And by the time Kuldeep came along, they were scoring at what, 6.5 and over. So they desperately needed to have a go, which is perfect for Kuldeep Yadav, right?
And they did. First ball 6.
First ball 6 in each of the overs in which he got a wicket. But they had to attack him, which is perfect for the wrist spinner. You attack me, I've got my best chance. He got a stumping, he got a catch on the boundary. So it's perfect for him. So I think the fast bowlers have set it up. Those last 12 runs would give a little something to smile about, but I'm not sure it's enough. But Saini was fantastic. I just love watching him.
Now, I know it's interesting you should bring him up. I was just about to mention that, because while we all focus on the big World Cup at the end of the year, the T20 World Cup, there's also a matter of a small thing called the IPL coming before that. And for Virat Kohli, throwing the ball to Navdeep Saini, secretly he would have been looking at the red on that blue jersey and thinking...
Are you looking at me because there's an MI guy to my left? I mean, I never thought this would happen. There's a question on fast bowling. He's looking at me and thinking, maybe he's in blue. He can't talk about it.
In that case, I would also classify you as MI if I had to.
Oh, well, that was long back. I was just sitting in the dugout. I had nothing to do.
That's a lot.
Absolutely nothing to do. Anyway, that was 10, 11 years ago. So,
but coming back to Virat Kohli, I mean, he would be delighted with that asset now he has, because that's always been their problem.
Yeah, it is. And if he can get Umesh Yadav to bowl up front, if Saini can bowl at the back end, then there's nothing like that for him. But his pace, I thought the Yorker was one for the ages. But wasn't the pull even the batsman late on that again?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that on few occasions today in today's innings for sure. And I think when you're looking at World Cup being in Australia and the combination which you're looking at, I think as a role, you as a bowling unit, this provides you that kind of balance, and this is what I've been talking about. You need three genuine fast bowlers in the lineup in that playing 11, and then you have a 6 bowling option as your seam up, and you have 2 spinners. So that's the right kind of balance. So if you're talking about preparing for the World Cup and getting the team ready, then I think this kind of combination works works better. The names can change. I'm not getting into the names, but the roles and situations, you have to approach it in this manner where you can set it up, and you still need that flexibility. You're not going to see someone like Kuldeep Yadav bowling those 4 overs on the trot, because in this kind of format, it can work on one-off occasion, but you can't do that consistently.
It can also work.
But I think you can go with the game when you have options, when you have bowlers who you're not really thinking of which situation they should be bowling in. So you're not stuck at any stage of the game. You can maneuver your resources the way you want and go with as the game is unfolding rather than having a set plan. Then you've often seen that you get predictable and teams can line up. Teams can target particular bowlers or particular situations. When you have resources like this, I think you have always upper hand in the game.
No, I was just going to ask, so what's the thing that impressed you most about Navdeep Saini? Because as a spectator watching it, I was looking at 113, 114 and then 147. I mean, that variety, I think, was what baffled the opposition.
Yorker was 147. The bouncer that he got the other wicket was 144. And he seemed to be getting there easily. But it was a strange kind of game there. We were all watching India, Sri Lanka. And yet another eye was on another screen, wasn't it? And I thought, there was one moment, literally, I'm watching Jasprit Bumrah bowl that amazing slower ball that completely did Dasun Shanaka in. And at the other end, Ben Stokes was producing 2 rippers. And I thought, what 2 champions of our times. And Ben Stokes has won yet another test match for England. I think he's just head and shoulders above everybody else in that England side.
And just one more time to whisper about the formats and the 5 days, etc., etc. But we're not going to get into that discussion. Zahid, your take on Navdeep Saini and what's the one thing that stood out most for you?
I think the pace. I think that has been his strength and one standing point when you talk about Saini. That express pace and control over that areas which he bowls in. So that's something which has been the talking point when Saini is discussed.
How tall is he? Well over 6? He's 6'1", 6'2"?
Not very tall.
About 6?
Yeah, about 6. But I think his action is bit like Jofra. He also generates longish run up. Jofra generates that kind of pace with a shorter run up. But if you look at the biomechanics, I think and that hip drive, he's got a few similarities there, and I think that's
interesting. We were watching
something which is exciting.
That freeze frame that you pointed out. They were checking the no ball. There's a freeze frame, and he said, "Isn't that Archer?"
That would be a good contest. But again, the other person at the other end, Jasprit Bumrah. We did talk about him in the first game. There was much to talk about because there was no game. But in terms of his comeback, it is going to be a slow process, relatively speaking. But again, impressions of that.
Interesting. He said, and we played that clip out the other day. He said he was not in pain. So it was probably a preventive break to get him. I think he's looking a little leaner. And he always bowls the tough overs, right? You're going to look today and say 4-0-32. Did he have a good game? But he bowled the tough overs. So at the end, you can get a couple of top edges. So instead of 4-0-32-1, he could easily have been 4-0-22-4, So I thought he looked absolutely fine.
Right?
Anything you picked up?
Yeah, nothing really. I think
yours are more trained.
You can't judge a bowler based on the numbers. So I think in terms of rhythm, he didn't look rusty. He's there. He's bowling at a really sharp pace. Which is what we've seen. He has executed those Yorkers. He has executed those slower ones. So I think and he has been rushing those top order batsmen. So that's something which to me tells me that he's ready. Yes. The match practice, the game time, everyone needs that. So that's just a process which follows. I feel as far as Bumrah is concerned, I think he's right up there.
Also, there was one little close up. Virat going to do a high fives to Navdeep Saini, and you could just see Virat going a bit like that. He loves pace, doesn't he? There's something about Virat. He loves pace. He's seen a fast bowler bowl the perfect Yorker to get somebody out, and he's enjoying it. I think Saini's already, forget the World T20, Saini's on that next tour, no doubt. If he stays fit, keeps his pace, he's on that test tour, no doubt in my mind.
Well, I personally think the delight for Virat was twofold, which is what we started the discussion with. But just a quick thought about how the batsmen will approach this total, because they may have gone out there before the game thinking that, okay, we've put them into bat, let's be prepared for 190 for a chase. Now they've got much less than that.
They should get these,
no? No, they will get it. They should get it. We're not going to say will. But will their approach change based on the number of runs less?
Needn't, because India's batting quite deep. There's Shivam Dubey at 6. Then there's Washington Sundar 7. There's Shardul Thakur, as we saw in the last game, can swing his bat around a little bit as well. I don't know. I think it's just played like it's the first innings. Don't worry about the target.
What usually happens, like, you know, now you imagine that you are in Sri Lankan camp, and what will be the talks going on there? You know, that you will be talking about, okay, we need early wickets.
Early wickets.
So they are going to go after wickets, and in that process, you've seen at times you are trying too much. And in that process, there is an opportunity for batsmen also to encash on that. You know, you'll see bowlers trying for that extra pace. You'll see bowlers really pitching the ball up. So, you know, you move away from your comfort zone because you're trying that extra bit. And I think, you know, that can at times provide that opportunity to batsmen also to encash on. So we might see something of that sorts. You know, the Sri Lankan bowlers trying a bit too hard, and in the process, Indian batters will get off to a flyer, and it should be an easy game. I mean, that's what my.
You have a smile on your face.
No, I'm not watching our own program, as Joy Bhattacharya once famously did over here. I'm just trying to. I'm on the Cricbuzz app waiting to see what's happening.
All right, but very quickly, as we keep to tradition, since none of us are on the My 11 Circle expert couch, we were miles off. In fact, we should be standing up. That's how far away we were. So, quick chance.
We were far away, not as much because we were wrong. Sri Lanka didn't bat well.
Fair enough. That's
I think India should get. Is that what you asked?
No, we're doing the power play now. New tradition, power play. Where will India be after 6 overs?
Where will India be after 6 overs? 46.
All right. Plus minus 5 is what we're going. I'm going 52.
Oh, like that. What did you say? 45?
I said 46.
46, 52.
48.
Oh,
No wicket.
in between.
I'll add no wicket. I think
46, 48.
I'll say 48 for no loss, game over. If they are indeed 48 for no loss, game over. Okay, 46, 48, 52.
Yeah. So it's all squeezed in there. We've got a little bit of buffer on the other side for both of us, but Zahir Khan has to be dead on like his deliveries were.
so. There is a possibility of a tie today.
There is a possibility of
there
a
you
tie.
go.
We can be right in between. We'll all sit on the same couch, shall we then? We've got...
No.
No. Okay, fine. All right, let's leave it at that. 10th over Cricbuzz Combox. And then the result, which seems like a foregone conclusion, but we won't quite put it there.
No.
It's probably not a question of if, but when for India. My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. We'll be back at the end.